We now come to the election day. What do you do before the actual voting starts? Except when COMELEC allows an earlier period, the first order of the day in the morning of election day is for you to retrieve the following forms: documents and supplies from the city municipal treasurer, and from the COMELEC election officer. Check the accuracy and quantity of the forms. Documents and supplies received. You may refer to the EB Companion and VCM Manual for the checklist. Once you have retrieved the forms, documents, and supplies, you will immediately proceed to the polling center not later than 5 o'clock in the morning. Before voting starts, you must set up the polling place. If it's practical, you will designate at least 5 seats exclusively for persons with disabilities, senior citizens, and heavily pregnant voters. Prominently post a poster indicating the clustered precinct number near or on the door of the polling place. Post 1 copy of the PCVL of each precinct in the cluster, near or at the door of the polling place. Show to those present that the following are sealed: VCM box, package of official ballots. Show to those present that the ballot box is empty. Therefore, lock it with 4 seals. Remember, the ballot box should remain locked during the voting. Now, you can open your assigned polling place. Casting a vote starts at 6 o'clock in the morning and ends at 6 o'clock in the evening of election day. At 6 o'clock in the evening, voters who have not cast their votes but are within 30 meters from the polling place will still be allowed to vote. Verify the voter's name in the EDCVL. Once verified, check the voter's fingernails for any indelible ink stain. If the fingernail is already stained, it will be a conclusive presumption that the voter has already cast their vote. In such case, you should ask the voter to leave the polling place after explaining why they are not allowed to vote. The poll clerk must record this in the minutes, together with the name of the voter and the precinct. If the fingernail is not stained, you will now establish the identity of the voter. Check and compare the voter's photograph or specimen signature in the EDCVL or any other authentic identification document. Once you're satisfied with the voter's identity, announce the name of the voter loud enough for people in the polling place to hear. If there is no challenge or having been challenged, and the question has been decided in his or her favor, require the voter to sign in the EDCVL and direct the voter to the chairperson to get the ballot. In case of illiterate voters or persons with disabilities who cannot sign, you will require them to affix their thumb marks in the EDCVL. If the voter does not have any authentic identification document, you or any registered voter of the precinct may identify the voter under oath. Remember to reflect this in the minutes. If you are not satisfied with the voter's identity, you should ask the voter to leave the polling place after explaining why they are not allowed to vote. Once you're satisfied with the identity of the voter, the EB chairperson will authenticate the ballot by signing it. Remember that failure to authenticate the ballot will not invalidate the ballot but will constitute as an election offense. The EB chairperson will show to the voter that the ballot being given has not yet been filled up, is not torn or smudged. Place such ballot inside the ballot secrecy folder, then give the ballot secrecy folder and the marking pen to the voter with the instruction that the ballot should be kept clean and free from unnecessary markings. The EB chairperson will remind the voter how to fill up the ballot properly. Then, direct the voter to fill up the ballot in the designated voting area. Remember, only the EB chairperson will issue the official ballots, and not more than one ballot will be issued at one time. Once the ballot has been filled out, the voter will then approach the vote counting machine, or VCM, feed his or her ballot in the ballot entry slot, and return the ballot secrecy folder and marking pen to the third member. The third member will stand beside the VCM in a position that blocks the screen, but near enough to do the following. Monitor the VCM to ensure that ballot is successfully accepted and VVPAT is printed. Fold the VVPAT in such a way that contents cannot be seen and cut the end of the VVPAT with non-pointed scissors. Apply indelible ink to the voter's right forefinger nail or any other nail if there's no forefinger. Give the VVPAT to the voter for review. It is your duty to ensure that only the voter can read the VVPAT and to advise the voter that bringing the VVPAT outside the polling place constitutes an election offense. You will then instruct the voter to go near the VVPAT receptacle. Verify his vote as it appears in the VVPAT and drop it in the VVPAT receptacle. Reminder: the VVPAT receptacle should be properly sealed using the packaging tape, on which you and the watchers, if any, would affix your names and signature. During the voting process, if it becomes necessary to make room for ballots in the ballot box, you may do so in the presence of watchers. Remove the VCM from the top of the ballot box. Shake the ballot box to wobble its contents and make room for the ballots. If the ballot still cannot go through the ballot box, you may open the ballot box. The EB chairperson will press down the ballots contained in the ballot box without removing any of them. You will then close the ballot box by sealing it. This fact will be recorded in the minutes. There will be times when the ballots may be rejected by the VCM during the scanning. There are 3 different types of messages when the VCM rejects a ballot. 1. Misread ballot. A ballot that has not been scanned properly is called misread ballot. The voter will be allowed to refeed the ballot 4 times in 4 different orientations. 2. Previously read ballot. A ballot with the same ballot ID number that was already scanned is called previously read ballot. And 3. Invalid ballot. A ballot that is not configured to the VCM is called invalid ballot. If the voter received the invalid ballot, they have to return it to the EB chairperson. The EB chairperson will then check if the rejected ballot's ID correspond to the clustered precinct number. If it doesn't match, the EB chairperson will mark the ballot with the word rejected and place it inside the envelope for rejected ballots. The EB chairperson will then issue the correct ballot to the voter. If the ballot is still rejected, the voter will return the ballot to the EB chairperson who will 1. Mark the back of the ballot as rejected. 2. Require all members of the board to sign at the back of the ballot. 3. Place the rejected ballot inside the envelope for rejected ballots. No replacement ballot will be issued to a voter whose ballot is rejected by the VCM, except if the rejection is not due to the fault of the voter. Any party objecting to the rejection of the ballot will reduce his objection in writing, which the EB will attach to and note in the minutes.